Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today is day 2 of Wilson's Board and Train. Today we're going to talk about tone of voice as well as luring into different positions, okay? So the first thing to talk about is tone of voice, all right? So when we're giving commands, such as sit, place, down, come, we want to say it in a firm but neutral tone, okay? So if I say sit, 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 the dog just heard 3 different words, okay? So it's really important we have that firm tone, all right? Now, same thing with our correction word, no. Firm but neutral. There should be no emotion behind it. We're not implementing correction just yet, but that's important to note for when we do. Now, when we start to switch tones will be when we use our marker word, okay? So we use our marker word to capture a behavior. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if I ask Wilson to sit, the moment that butt hits the ground, I'm gonna mark the behavior. Yes! In that high-pitched celebratory tone, and then I will give a reward, okay? So for instance, if you were to do like clicker training, it would be the same thing. You mark the behavior, click, but this case we're saying yes, and then I present my reward. But I always make sure to put space in between my yes and actually giving the treat. Because if I'm just sitting here saying yes, and I have the food in my hand and he's just lick, 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 he's not caring about what I'm saying, okay? So I want to put that separation between what the word means and then the food, all right? So, and you're gonna see an example of this as we head into our luring, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and head straight into that. So, luring. When we lure a dog, we can use food, you can use toys if they're motivated by such, you can use leash pressure, as well as our body to help communicate what we want from the dog, okay? So, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start by luring him into a sit position. Now, normally, we don't even introduce the command right away. First, we gotta build the foundation for the command. So, I'm gonna grab a couple treats here. Wilson, hi. And when the dog is super food motivated, we wanna use this to our advantage. But I'm not feeding into that behavior right there, right? Notice I didn't push him off with my hands. That's because when I use my hands, it's a sign of play, okay? So, usually, I'll knock him off and turn away, right? Disrupt the behavior. Now, back to the luring for a second. We'll touch on that more later. So, when I present my food lure, what I'll do is I usually like to put a treat in the palm of my hand, tuck it under my thumb, okay? So that way, the dog can lick, 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 but they don't get that reward until I give it to them. This also helps with dogs that are very mouthy when they take treats from you, okay? It helps them become more gentle. So, when I'm luring into a sit position, I present my food lure, and I use my body to help leverage him into position. Yes! Just like that. And as soon as that butt hit the ground, then I mark the behavior. Now you notice I didn't give my treat yet because he jumped on me. So, I'm waiting him out. Yes! And I'll reward the behavior I do like to see, which is his feet on the ground, okay? So we're gonna do that again. Wilson. Yes! Free! Good. So, as you can see, I'm using my body to help leverage him into that position, all right? So, the next one we're going to do is our down command, okay? So I'm going to lure him into that position. Once again, not saying the command just yet, all right? So I'm going to present my food lure again, but this time my body's going to go in the opposite direction because that's where we want his center of gravity to go, okay? So I'm going to once again present my food lure and lure towards the floor. Yes! And as soon as his body's where I want him to be, free, I mark the behavior, okay? No, buddy, it's a wrap. So we're going to do that again. Yes, food right here. Sometimes it's easier for dogs to start into a sit and then go into a down. Wilson is kind of like that at times, so if that's the case, not a big deal, okay? We just want to get him conditioned to what a down really means, all right? So I'm going to present my lure again in a second here. Hey. Lure towards the floor. Yes! Free. And as you can see, I kind of almost pull my hand back for a second to put that separation in between my marker word and the actual reward itself, okay? So I'm going to do that one more time and then we're going to move on. Wilson! Hi! Yes! Good. Free! Good job. All right, so now we're going to move on to our place cod, okay? So I'm going to grab our place cod over there so that way you can see this a little bit better. impulse control in a number of situations within the household. I also like to treat place just like a crate, okay? This is the dog's place to settle, to self-soothe. Nobody should be bothering him there, okay? But we'll talk about that more as we move through the program. So for right now, what I'm gonna do is get him comfortable with my place cot over here, okay? And a place command can also be a dog bed, okay? As long as it's somewhat of an elevated surface. If you have a handy dandy place cot, that's wonderful. Like I said, if not, a dog bed works just the same. So, once again, I'm gonna present my, yes! I'm gonna mark that because I like that behavior. That's what's called free shaping. When a dog offers up a behavior I like, and I mark it and reward it, I am capturing that behavior, therefore free shaping that behavior, okay? No, so he's being a little itchy because of the prong. Now, I want to touch on that for a second. So I know he already has a prong, but we are testing out different sizes for him to see if that will help maintain a difference. But we'll kind of let you know our feelings on that as we go through the program as well. So I'm going to go ahead and see how he does. So I'm going to guide him over, present my food lure. Yes! Good. Free! So, as soon as all 4 feet are on that mat, that is the moment I want to mark the behavior. Yes! As soon as that 4th foot hits it, okay? So we're going to do that again. And this time, I'm beyond just using the food, I'm also using the leash pressure and my body to communicate with him. So, I'll guide him on. Yes! Free! And then I'm releasing him from these positions with our free command, okay? And what free is going to mean is the freedom as your reward. Now you can go do what you want, okay? Very different than our come command, which should have way more value. If I ask my dog to come, they better come running, right? Come is probably the most important command. And that's also the next one we're gonna touch on. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna move my place cot back, and we're gonna cover that real quick as well. Watch out, buddy. Grab a couple more treats. The fact that Wilson is so food motivated is wonderful because this will work to our advantage. I don't expect you guys to carry treats around forever, but this will help us at the very beginning. All right, so for come, this one's a little bit easier, okay? So I'm gonna lure him into position. And all I'm gonna do is present my food lure and take a couple steps back. Yes! And mark the behavior. I'm not looking for long distances, literally 2 to 3 steps back, mark, reward, okay? I almost pull my hand back in that second in between my mark, reward, and that reward, okay? So I'm gonna do that again. Yes! Reward, okay? Yes! I'm almost putting my body into the C position as well, using my body as a magnet. Listen. To help guide him, but I can also use my leash pressure as well. Yes, like I said, I'm using food, leash pressure, and my body to communicate, okay? So, Wilson did quite well with that. Now there's one way we can also teach come, and this is where we'll start kind of using the word a bit more, and this is only if he's motivated enough to do so. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Buddy. Free. Come. Treats. We'll try that again. Listen. Hi. Oh no. Free. Come. Yes. Okay. So this is going to turn into a little bit of a game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say my free command. Free. Come. Yes. Okay. And so what's going to happen is when I say free, he's going to grab that treat. And the moment he's done eating that treat, of course I don't want him to choke, I want him to eat it, then I'm gonna say my come command. Buddy, no. I'm gonna say come, and the moment he presents me with engagement, that's the moment I'm gonna mark, okay? Not when he gets all the way to me yet. For right now, I just want the eye contact. That moment, yes! And then I'll kind of lure him back with my body, okay? So we're gonna do that again. Look, it's you. Free. Good. Come. Yes! As you can see, I used a bit of that leash pressure to also help guide me. This will also help build a positive association with that pressure, okay? Listen. What is on your chin, buddy? Buzz. Okay, no, stop. Come on. Free. rewarding that commitment, okay? That eye contact. Good boy. Otherwise, Wilson's doing very well, okay? We're only on day 2, but I have great hopes for him through this program. So we'll keep you updated as we take this day by day. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great one. Stay tuned for the next video.